on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm going to show you how I made this beautiful, smoky, juicy, buttery, spatchcocked chicken. Coming up, there's a creepy man in the window. Chicken, that's right, folks. Today we are cooking chicken on the offset. And just like turkey and all poultry, I feel like it tends to get overshadowed by all the brisket, ribs, and sausages of the world. But when done properly, some smoked chicken is really one of the best bites of barbecue. Crispy skin, moist, juicy meat. And that's what we're gonna do today, and it is going to be delicious. There are many different ways you can cook a chicken. You can stuff a beer can in there, you can break it down into individual sections, you can cook it whole, you can cut it in half, but today we are going to spatchcock this one. And if you're not familiar with a spatchcock, basically all it means is removing the spine, which is super easy to do. Get yourself a good old pair of kitchen shears, aim right on either side of the tail, and just go straight back. And what the spatchcock is really great for is laying the chicken really flat. And what that's gonna do is help airflow come across. It's really gonna help with that crispy skin. And without this big cavity in the middle, it'll cook a lot faster. But that's basically it. We're gonna take this spine here, save that for stock or something like that. And then this is pretty much all we're gonna do. At this point, we can flip it over. A lot of times you'll see people put a little nick right in the center here, and that way it kind of cracks open a little bit, so it's really flat. And then we're gonna tuck these wing tips, make sure that none of these tips burn off, and that's exactly how we're gonna keep it. Maybe go around and trim up some of these edges while we're here. But that's it. This is gonna sit flat. Airflow is gonna come right across it real nice. All the skin is exposed up to the heat. This is gonna cook great. But before we throw it onto the cooker, we need to give this chicken a brine. You could dry brine this like we did in the other chicken video, but I wanna incorporate a little bit more flavor into the meat. So we're gonna go with a traditional wet brine today. Now that we have our weight of water, we are going to add 5% salinity, which is, I don't know, 160 something. 168, a little heavy, that's all right. We are also going to add that same amount of acidity in the form of some hot sauce. This is very similar to the turkey brine because it's tried and true and super tasty. We're going to go with some Heat Week Leroy and Lewis sauce for this. Other flavors include some crushed garlic, a few white peppercorns, a couple of bay leaves, and again, you don't really need to be exact with this kind of thing. Brines are meant to be flavorful, but you're not going to overdo it. We're also going to add some Italian herbs and seasoning, and that's just going to add some really nice flavor. These dry seasonings will hydrate and add some really good flavor to the brine. And from there, all we need to do is whisk it up till everything is nicely dissolved, and we've got ourselves a wonderful, flavorful chicken brine. The acidity in the hot sauce is really gonna help tenderize the chicken, and all these flavors are gonna just kind of permeate throughout the meat. If you have the time, I highly recommend doing this step because brining your meat's not only gonna make it more flavorful, but also a lot more juicy. And now, in she goes. We're gonna let this go overnight, but as long as you let this marinate for at least a good 4 or 5 hours, should be all right, but longer the better. And I will see y'all tomorrow.
What a beautiful fire.
All right, welcome to the next day where this bird has been brining overnight, and we're gonna pull it out, rinse it all off. You wanna make sure you rinse it to get all those herbs and spices off there, otherwise they might burn up on the cooker. So I'm gonna rinse this off, then we're gonna throw it on the pit. All right, here we are out of the brine. Beautiful looking chicken, still looks just like a chicken. So it's fully seasoned all the way throughout, so all we need to do now is add a little bit extra flavor and toss it on the pit. Extra flavor in the form of a little garlic powder, and some black pepper. You can do whatever you want here. If you have a low sodium rub, this would be a good time for that. If you want to make a rub, maybe make some pepper, paprika, garlic, all these things together. But the garlic will help roast on the smoker. It'll really help give the skin a nice golden brown. As well as once all the chicken fat kind of starts leaking out of the skin, you'll get that roasted chicken fat garlic deliciousness. Highly recommend it. And some black pepper, just because it looks nice. Add some flavor. Oh, that's a beautiful thing. Beautiful. Don't forget all the little crevasses. Now we're gonna pop this on the pit. We're rocking this pit right at 275 right now. It's on its way up, all the way up to 300 degrees, probably 325, and we're gonna put this chicken up close front to the fire just to make sure that we get some really hot and fast, crispy skin chicken. On it goes. Boop. We're gonna go breast side towards the fire, right in the hot spot. Not too close, I've still got about a foot, but we're just gonna let this thing cook nice and fast. I'm not worried about it drying out because it's fully brined. There's a lot of fat in the skin and in the thighs as well. So I'm just gonna cook this around 300, 325. We'll come back in a little bit. All right, it has been just about 2 hours and this chicken is looking great. As you can see, the skin is looking nice and bubbly, nice and crispy. All of the chicken is fully cooked. We're rocking a solid 165, 170 in the deepest part of the breast, but you can tell that the skin is crispy because it's starting to puff up. And if you look right here, you can see all that fat underneath. Woo-hoo-hoo, very nice. We're about 185 to 190 in these thighs, and they can take it. They've got a lot of connective tissue and a much fattier cut of meat. But this is looking real nice. None of the wings burnt up, good golden brown color. All the fat is rendered, all the pepper is cooked on, but we're gonna hit it with a little bit of butter before we pull it off. Adding some butter is a great way to ensure some delicious flavor, because come on, who doesn't love buttery chicken? But also a pro tip, this is some really hot butter. So if you were having problems with your skin not being crispy, which we're not having today, this would be a great opportunity to help that skin crisp up too. Just having some oil on the exterior and then blasting it really hot will ensure a nice crispy bird. But today we're just going for some flavor. A lot of times too, you could throw some hot sauce in with your butter, get a little buffalo chicken situation going on, or add some herbs, whatever flavors you like. But today we're gonna keep it classic with just some straight up butter on here, and we're gonna let it cook for another 10 minutes or so, and then we're gonna pull it off, rest it, and slice in. All right, it's been another 10, 15 minutes. All the extra butter has dripped off. It's helped crisp up the skin, and I think it's time we pull this chicken off. And that's what it's all about, folks. A beautiful, crispy chicken. Nothing's too burnt on the ends. Wing tips are nice. We know it's juicy from the brine. Super simple, too. Nice and quick. Makes for a decent weeknight meal. And I don't need to tell you that you can take this recipe and add any variation you want. If I threw some Szechuan peppercorns into that butter or put a more complex rub on there to begin with, you can make this taste super delicious. But this is all you need for a super basic, delicious smoked chicken. We're gonna let this rest for another 10, 15 minutes until the internal temp comes down to around 150 degrees. So one, we don't burn ourselves, and two, so when we cut into it, we don't have a bunch of juices spilling out all over the place. Although that may still happen. All right, now that this bird has rested for a few minutes, we are gonna carve it up, and it's real easy to do. First thing we're gonna do is just go right along the thigh. There's nothing but really skin there holding it together, so these come off super easy. Two beautiful legs. You can also kind of find the joint, cut those apart. So we got thigh and drum, come apart super easily. Next up is the breast. We can cut this right down the middle. Use a nice heavy-duty chef's knife for this. Beautiful, nice, juicy chicken. Crispy skin, you can see by how thin it is that it's gonna be super crispy. And then you can cut this down even further into bite-sized pieces. You could try and take the wing off if you want. Oftentimes I'll just kind of pop them right off. And there we have it. Some beautiful smoked chicken. Nice and golden. None of that rubbery skin today, folks. Yeah. Still got some of this spicy Leroy & Lewis Heat Week sauce. Figured that'll go perfectly on some smoked chicken. I can get it open. Cockburn! I need the jaws of life.
Oh man, that was not that bad.
Really? Life's easier when you're not covered in chicken fat. All right, buddy, you want some chicken? All right, let's go for a drummy. Cheers.
Oh damn. Mr. Chud, what are you doing to me right now?
Nothing.
I'm the guy at Thanksgiving that takes a drumstick because for some reason I think it's like an iconic piece of meat.
You just want to look like that. Like the king in Game of Thrones?
Exactly.
I'm a thigh guy. Nice and juicy. Yeah, that looks nice and tasty to me. Nothing wrong with that. The only problem with chicken, why I think we don't see it as much in Texas, is because it doesn't hold very well. Like for service, like a rack of ribs or like a brisket or something, you can pop in a warmer, hold it all day. Chicken, it's all about that crispy skin, so you kind of got to eat it fresh. All right, y'all, and that is it. That is my version of a super simple smoked chicken. And like I was saying, you can take this recipe in any direction, but it's a super cheap way to eat some really good barbecue, weeknight, weekend. Again, this only took about 2 hours, came out super tasty, and it's better than any chicken you're gonna buy at the store. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot. Head over to ChudsBBQ.com for all pit inquiries, prices, and all that good stuff. Head over to the Leroy and Lewis Patreon for more videos from me and the whole gang at Leroy and Lewis. Let me know in the comments below what you want to see me cook next, and until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace!